Lily Allen, Empath, Narcissist, or Something Else, Part 2. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Lily Allen goes under the Tudorscope as we begin by looking at her early life. Lily Allen was born to actor and comedian Keith Allen and film producer Alison Owen. She has an older sister, Sarah, a younger brother, actor Alfie Allen, and a younger sister, Rebecca. Her family was deeply entrenched in the arts, with her father being a Welsh-born actor and her mother coming from a devoutly Catholic working-class family in Portsmouth. Alison Owen was only 17 when she gave birth to Lily's older sister, Sarah, indicating a very young and possibly strained parental dynamic at becoming a mother so early. When Lily was 4, her father left the family, an event that clearly significantly impacted her. This contributed to what she later described as long-standing abandonment issues. The loss of her father by leaving the family at such a young age would clearly contribute to a lack of control environment, and therefore could mean that Lily Allen had the environment which could cultivate the creation of a narcissist, or that the environment was such that it would leave her susceptible to narcissists as a consequence of increased neediness arising from what she has described as abandonment issues. During her early childhood, the family lived on a council estate before settling in Islington, a more affluent area of London. For a time, they resided with comedian Harry Enfield, while Alison Owen was in a relationship with him, which ended when Enfield grew tired of Owen's frequent work trips, parties, and substance abuse. Accordingly, Lily Allen's father wasn't in the picture. She had a stepfather, but it is evident that her own mother was somewhat self-absorbed as a consequence of her having frequent work trips, parties, and engaging in substance use. This means that not only did Lily Allen have the lack of control environment foisted upon her by the departure of her husband, of her father rather, but it doesn't sound like she had a particularly stable environment provided by her mother. As I've explained previously, notwithstanding a lack of control environment, an intervener, often the non-narcissist parent or a grandparent or school, can bring influence to bear and stability, which negates the worst effects of that lack of control environment. Here, it would appear that Lily Allen was faced in a pincer movement, the departure of her father and a mother that have seemed to be more interested in herself than raising her child and children. Lily's mother struggled with parenting, partly due to her young age and career demands, which led to periods of neglect and substance use, which was detailed in Lily's memoir, My Thoughts Exactly. Allen has described her mother as inadvertently gaslighting her into believing parenting was easy, which later influenced her own expectations of motherhood. She also described her father as narcissistic and unfaithful, which further complicated the family dynamics. This early description of the behaviours of both her parents tends to suggest that on the balance of probabilities, one, or possibly both, might well have been a narcissist, and in that comes two potential problems. The first is that there is a risk that a genetic predisposition towards narcissism has been passed on to Lily Allen. That doesn't mean that she becomes a narcissist, it just raises the prospect that she could, along with the fact that there is a greater likelihood of a lack of control environment and a decreased likelihood of stabling influences. Thus, her early life certainly seems to be one which could well be conducive to the creation of a narcissist. It isn't guaranteed that that would happen, though. The genetic predisposition might have skipped her, even though she was subjected to a lack of control environment. And indeed, if that were the case, that could result in the creation of somebody else altogether who leans more towards a reliance upon narcissists than being a narcissist themselves. Lily Allen's childhood behaviour was marked by rebellion and a strong-willed personality. She had been described as an argumentative problem child. Was this the early manifestation of perhaps narcissism, or just the result of the fact that she had a difficult background and was doing her best to find her way through it? This was seen as a response to the instability caused by her father's departure and her mother's challenges. In her memoir, she reflects on being pretty brazen with her behaviour, saying, "I just didn't care," indicating a lack of concern for societal norms or consequences. The fact that she reflects on being pretty brazen and can admit that, might that be genuine self-reflection, or is it simply a provocation in later life? Her rebellious streak manifested in behaviours such as drinking and smoking, which led to her being expelled from multiple schools. This demonstrates a lack of accountability for her behaviour, in that she behaved in such a way that this resulted in her being expelled, that she wouldn't conform, that she wouldn't follow the rules. She also displayed a sense of independence early on. Age 15, during a family holiday in Ibiza, she told her mother she was staying with friends, but instead remained alone in Sant Antoni de Portmany, a bold and risky decision which reflected her desire for autonomy. Is this an early indication of somebody that would do their own thing, demonstrating a sense of entitlement and a lack of accountability, an absence of emotional empathy towards her family? Or might it simply be a reaction to the fact that she thought, well, they never cared about me, so why should I care about them? Age 11, she was overheard singing Oasis's Wonderwall in a school playground by Rachel Santesso, then Rachel Zafira, a music teacher who recognised her potential. This led to lunchtime singing lessons, and at a school concert, Lily's performance of Baby Mine from Disney's Dumbo moved the audience to tears, an experience that solidified her passion for music. She later said that seeing a troubled young girl doing something good resonated with her, which suggests a potential awareness of her own struggles and, possibly, a desire to channel them constructively. Her rebellious behaviour, such as drinking and smoking during her childhood, would be delinquent behaviour in the context of school rules. The fact is that she also engaged in substance use as an adult, which shows criminal activity, again demonstrating a disregard for rules and convention and showing a lack of accountability. Lily Allen attended 13 schools between the ages of 5 and 15. This again demonstrates clearly a lack of control environment and an absence of stability. This included Hill House School, which was the junior alma mater of King Charles III, Bedale School, a prestigious progressive boarding school, Millfield, another well-known independent school, and Cavendish School, where her singing talent was discovered. Her expulsion demonstrates she was regarded as a disruptive student by school authorities. In her memoir, she describes feeling like an outsider at private schools, encountering peers with superiority complexes, which likely exacerbated her rebelliousness. Is it the case that those with that superior complex threatened her innate need for control, or was this simply a reaction whereby she didn't like those people and rebelled against it? Despite her academic struggles, she excelled musically, achieving grade 8 in singing, grade 5 in piano, and proficiency in violin, guitar, and trumpet. She was also a member of a chamber choir. Her talent was clearly recognised, even if her behaviour was problematic. Allen left school at 15 without any GCSE qualifications, again demonstrating a lack of accountability. She did this driven by her belief that spending a third of her life preparing to work for the next third to set herself up with a pension for the next third was not worthwhile. Refreshingly realistic, or an arrogant, entitled attitude. She later expressed embarrassment about her lack of formal education, particularly when considering a career in midwifery or obstetrics, where she felt she was unattainable without qualifications. Her childhood was certainly one that was tumultuous, unconventional, and marked by both privilege and instability. She grew up in a creative bohemian household with connections to figures like Harry Enfield and Joe Strummer, but with it came significant challenges. her father's abandonment, her mother's struggles with parenting and substance use, and the family's frequent moves contributed to a sense of rootlessness and emotional insecurity, and may well be viewed as a lack of control environment. Her frequent school changes and expulsions reflect again an inability to follow the rules. Her rebellious behaviour, drinking, smoking, and running away to Glastonbury at age 14 suggests potentially a search for identity and control in a chaotic environment. Her musical talent provided a positive outlet, discovered and nurtured early on, which set the stage for her later success. Alan herself has reflected on seeking unconditional love later in life, a desire she attributes to the absence of consistent parental presence in her childhood. Is this genuine insight on her part, the scarring of the raising of perhaps by one or two narcissists, or is this simply an excuse for her own behaviours driven by what might be her narcissism? Clear evidence of rule breaking, behaving with a sense of entitlement, a lack of accountability, that she was expelled, that she didn't fit in. However, is this all indicative of an individual that can't follow the rules because it threatens her need for control, or is this simply the reaction of a young girl trying to find her way through life and struggling as a consequence of the lack of stable parental role models? Well, you'll be forming your own views in relation to the information that you've heard as we go on to consider more about Lily Allen in part 3. Join me there.